Father, Messiah, and Holy Spirit wills. Continuing off iyob. But now those younger than I deride me, men whose fathers I would have disdained to put among my sheepdogs. Of what use to me is the strength of their hands. All their vigor is gone, wasted from want and starvation. They flee to a parched land, to the gloom of desolate wasteland. They pluck saltwood and wormwood. The roots of broom are their food. Driven out from society, they are cried out like a thief. They live in the gullies of wadis, in holes in the ground, and in rocks, braying among the bushes, huddling among the needles, scoundrels or nobodies, stricken from the earth. Now I am the butt of their gibes. I have become a byword to them. They abhor me, they keep their distance from me. They do not withhold spittle from my face, because Elohim has disarmed and humbled me. They have thrown off restraint in my presence. Mere striplings assail me at my right hand. They put me to flight. They build their roads for my ruin. They tear up my path. They promote my fall, although it does them no good. They come as though a wide breach. They roll in like raging billows. Terror tumbles upon me. It sweeps away my honor like the wind. My dignity vanishes like a cloud. So now my life runs out. Days of misery have taken hold of me. By night my bones feel gnawed. My sinews never rest. With great effort I change clothing. The neck of my tunic fits my waist. You regarded me as clay. I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I wait, but you do not consider me. You have become cruel to me with your powerful hand. You harass me, you lift me up and mount me on the wind. You make my courage melt. I know you will bring me to death. The house is signed for all the living. Surely he will not strike at a ruin. If in calamity one cried out to him, did I not weep for the unfortunate? Did I not grieve for the needy? I looked forward to good fortune, but evil came. I hoped for light, but darkness came. That's real. My bowels are in turmoil without respite. Days of misery confront me. I walk about in sunless gloom. I rise in the assembly and cry out. I have become a brother to jackals, a companion to ostriches. My skin blackened is peeling off me. My bones are charred by the heat, so my lyre is given over to mourning. My pipe to unaccompanied weepers. I have covenanted with my eyes not to gaze on a maiden. What fate is decreed by Elohim above? What lot by Shaddai in the heights? Calamity is surely for the iniquitous, misfortune for the worker of mischief. Surely he observes my ways, takes account of my every step. Have I walked with worthless men? Or my feet hurry to deceit? Let him weigh me on the scale of righteousness. Let Elohim ascertain my integrity. If my feet have strayed from their course, my heart followed after my eyes, and a stain sullied my hands. May I sow but another reap. May the growth of my field be uprooted. If my heart was ravished by the wife of my neighbor, and I lay in wait at his door, may my wife grind for another. May others kneel under her, for that would have been debauchery, a criminal offense. A fire burning down to Abaddon, consuming the roots of all my increase. Did I ever brush aside the case of my servants, man or maid, when they made a complaint against me? What then should I do when Elohim arises? When he calls me to account, what should I answer him? Did not he who made me in my mother's belly make him? Did not one form us both in the womb? Did I deny the poor their needs, or let a widow pine away by eating my food alone? The fatherless not eating of it also. Why from my youth he grew up with me? Why from my youth he grew up with me as though I were his father? Since I left my mother's womb, I was her guide. I never saw an unclad wretch, a needy man without clothing, whose loins did not bless me. As he warmed himself with the shearings of my sheep, if I raised my hand against the fatherless, looking to my supporters in the gate, may my arm drop off my shoulder, my forearm break off at the elbow, for I am in dread of Elohim sent calamity. I cannot bear his threat that I put my reliance on gold, or regard fine gold as my bulwark, that I rejoice in my great wealth, in having attained plenty, if ever I saw the light shining, the moon on its course in full glory. and I secretly succumbed, and my hand touched my mouth in a kiss. That too would have been a criminal offense, for I would have denied Elohim above. Did I rejoice over my enemy's misfortune? Did I thrill because evil befell him? I never let my mouth sin by hoping his death and a curse. Indeed, the men of my clan said, we would consume his flesh insatiably. No sojourner spent the night in the open. I opened my doors to the road. Did I hide my transgression like Adam? Did I hide my transgressions like Adam? Bury my wrongdoing in my bosom, that I should now fear the great multitude, and am shattered by the contempt of families, so that I keep silent and do not step outdoors? Oh, that I had someone to give me a hearing. Oh, that should die will reply to my writ, or my accuser draw up a true bill. I would carry it on my shoulder, tie it around me for a wreath. I will give him an account of my steps, offer it as to a commander. If my land cries out against me, its furrows weep together. If I have eaten its produce without payment, and made its rightful owners despair, may needles grow there instead of wheat, instead of barley, stink wheat. The words of Iyob are at an end. Wow. These three men ceased replying to Iyob, for he considered himself right. Then Elihu, son of Barakael, the Buzite of the family of Ram, was angry at Iyob because he thought himself right against Elohim. He was angry as well at his three friends because they found no reply, but merely condemned Iyob. Elihu waited out Iob's speech, for they were all older than he. But when Elihu saw that the three men had nothing to reply, he was angry. Then Elihu, son of Barakachel, the Buzite, sent a reply, I have but few years, while you are old. Therefore I was too awestruck and fearful to hold forth from among you. Therefore I was too awestruck and fearful to hold forth among you. I thought, let age speak, let advanced years declare wise things. But truly it is the spirit in men, the breath of Shaddai, that gives them understanding. It is not the aged who are wise, the elders who understand how to judge. Therefore I say, listen to me. I too would hold forth. Here I have waited out your speeches, I have given ear to your insights, while you probed the issues. But as I attended to you, I saw that none of you could argue with Iyob or offer replies to his statements. I fear you will say, we have found the wise course. Elohim will defeat him, not man. He did not set out his case against me, nor shall I use your reasons to reply to him. They have been broken and can no longer reply. Words fail them. I have waited till they stopped speaking, till they ended and no longer replied. Now I also would have my say. I too would like to hold forth, for I am full of words. The wind in my belly presses me. My belly is like wine not yet opened, like jugs of new wine ready to burst. Let me speak then and get relief. Let me open my lips and reply. I will not show regard for any man, or temper my speech for anyone's sake. For I do not know how to temper my speech. My Maker would soon carry me off. But now, Iyob, listen to my words. Give ear to all that I say. Now I open my lips, my tongue forms words in my mouth. My words bespeak the uprightness of my heart. My lips. So I'm not crushing that. But now, Iyob, listen to my words. Give ear to all that I say. Now I open my lips, my tongue forms words in my mouth. My words bespeak the uprightness of my heart. My lips utter insight honestly. The spirit of Elohim formed me. The breath of Shaddai sustains me. If you can, answer me. Argue against me. Take your stand. You and I are the same before Elohim. I too was nipped from clay. You are not overwhelmed by fear of me. My pressure does not weigh heavily on you. Indeed, you have stated in my hearing. I heard the words spoken. I am guiltless, free from transgression. I am innocent without iniquity. But he finds reasons to oppose me, considers me his enemy. He puts my feet in stocks, watches all my ways. In this you are not right. I will answer you. Elohim is greater than any man. Why do you complain against him that he does not reply to any of man's charges? For Elohim speaks time and again, once, twice, though man does not perceive it. In a dream, a night vision, when deep sleep falls on them, while they slumber on their beds, then he opens man's understanding, and by disciplining them, leaves his signature, to turn man away from inaction, to suppress pride in man. He squares him from the pit. He spares him from the pit. His person from perishing by the sword. He is reproved by pains on his bed, and the trembling in his bones is constant. He detests food. Fine food is repulsive to him. His flesh wastes away till it cannot be seen, and his bones are rubbed away till they are invisible. He comes close to the pit. His life verges on death. If he has a representative, one advocate against 1,000, to declare the man's uprightness, then he has mercy on him and decrees, redeem him from descending to the pit. For I have obtained his ransom. Let his flesh be healthier. Let his flesh be healthier than in his youth. Let him return to his younger days. He prays to Elohim and is accepted by him. He enters his presence with shouts of joy, for he requites a man for his righteousness. He declares to men, I have sinned, I have perverted what was right, but I was not paid back for it. He redeemed him from passing into the pit. He will enjoy the light. Truly Elohim does all these things 2 or 3 times a man. Truly Elohim does all these things 2 or 3 times to a man, to bring him back from the pit, that he may bask in the light of life. Pay heed, Job, and hear me. Be still, and I will speak. If you have what to say, answer me. Speak, for I am eager to vindicate you. But if not, you listen to me. Be still, and I will teach you wisdom. Elihu said in reply, Listen, O wise man, to my words. You who have knowledge, give ear to me. For the ear tests arguments, as the palate tastes food. Let us decide for ourselves what is just. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am right. Elohim has deprived me of justice. I declare the judgment against me false. My arrow wound is deadly, though I am free from transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks mockery like water, who makes common cause with evildoers and goes with wicked men? For he says, man gains nothing when he is in Elohim's favor. Therefore, men of understanding, listen to me. Wickedness be far from Elohim. Wrongdoing from Shaddai, for he pays a man according to his actions, and provides for him according to his conduct. For Elohim surely does not act wickedly. Shaddai does not pervert justice, who placed the earth in his charge, who ordered the entire world. If he but intends it, he can call back his spirit and breath. All flesh would at once expire, and mankind return to dust. If you would understand, listen to this. Give ear to what I say. Would one who hates justice govern? Would you condemn the just? Would you condemn the just mighty one? Would you call a king a scoundrel? Great men wicked. He is not partial to princes. The noble are not preferred to the wretched. For all of them are the work of his hands. Some die suddenly in the middle of the night. People are in turmoil and pass on. Even great men are removed, not by human hands. For his eyes are upon a man's ways. He observes his every step. Neither darkness nor gloom offers a hiding place for evildoers. He has no set time for man to appear before Elohim in judgment. He shatters mighty men without number and sets others in their place. Truly he knows their deeds. Night is over and they are crushed. He strikes them down with the wicked, where people can see, because they have been disloyal to him and have not understood any of his ways. Thus he lets the cry of the poor come before him. He listens to the cry of the needy. When he is silent, who will condemn? If he hides his face, who will see him? But be it nation or man, the impious man rule no more. Facts. Nor do those who ensnare the people, as he said to Elohim, nor do those who ensnare the people, as he said to Elohim, I will bear my punishment and offend no more. What I cannot see, you teach me. If I have done iniquity, I shall not do so again. Shall he requite as you see fit? But you have despised him. You must decide, not I. Speak what you know, men of understanding. Say to me. Wise men who hear, Job does not speak with knowledge. His words lack understanding. Would that Job were tried to the limit, For answers which befit sinful men, he adds to his sin. He increases his transgression among us. He multiplies his statements against Elohim. Elihu said in reply, do you think it just to say I am right against Elohim? If you ask how it benefits you, what have I gained from not sinning? I shall give you a reply. You along with your friends behold the heavens and see. Look at the skies high above you. If you sin, what do you do to him? If your transgressions are many, how do you affect him? If you are righteous, what do you give him? What does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects men like yourself. Your righteousness, mortals. Because of contention, the oppressed cry out. They shout because of the power of the great. But none says, where is my Elohim, my maker, who gives strength in the night, who gives us more knowledge than the beasts of the earth, makes us wiser than the birds of the sky. Then they cry out, but he does not respond. Because of the arrogance of evil men, surely it is false that Elohim does not listen. That Shaddai does not take note of it. Though you say you do not take note of it, the case is before him, so wait for him. But since now it does not seem so, he vents his anger. He does not realize that it may be long drawn out. Hence Job mouths empty words and piles up words without knowledge. I know I for sure have done that before. Then Elihu spoke once more. Wait a little and let me hold forth. There is still more to say for Elohim. I will make my opinions widely known. I will justify my maker. Amen. In truth, my words are not false. A man of sound opinions is before you. Amen. See, Elohim is mighty. He is not contemptuous. He is mighty in strength and mind. Amen. He does not let the wicked live. He grants justice to the lowly. Amen. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous. With the kings on thrones, amen. He seats them forever, and they are exalted. If they are bound in shackles and caught in trembles of affliction, he declares to them what they have done, and that their transgressions are excessive. He opens their understanding by discipline, and orders them back from mischief. If they will serve obediently, they shall spend their days in happiness, their years in delight. But if they are not obedient, they shall perish by the sword. This stuff is real, my man. Die for lack of understanding, but the impious in heart become enraged. They do not cry for help when he afflicts them. They die in their youth, expire among the depraved. He rescues the lowly from their affliction and opens their understanding through distress. Indeed, he draws you away from the brink of distress to a broad place where there is no constraint. You are oppressed. You are obsessed with the case of the wicked man, but the justice of the case will be upheld. Let anger at his affluence not mislead you. Let much bribery not turn you aside. Will your limitless wealth avail you? All your powerful efforts? Do not long for the night when peoples vanish where they are. Do not long for the night when peoples vanish where they are. Beware, do not turn to mischief. Because of that you have been tried by affliction. Because of that you have been tried by affliction. See, Elohim is beyond reaching his power. Who governs like him? Whoever reproached him for his conduct? Whoever said you have done wrong? Remember then to magnify his work, of which men have sung, which all men have beheld, men have seen from a distance. See, Elohim is greater than we can know. The number of his years cannot be counted. He forms the droplets of water, which cluster into rain from his mist. The skies rain, they pour down on all mankind. Can one indeed contemplate the expanse of clouds, the thunderings from his pavilion? See, he spreads his lightning over it. He fills the bed of the sea. By these things he controls peoples. He gives food in abundance. Lightning fills his hands. He orders it to hit the mark. Its noise tells of him the kindling of anger against iniquity. Because of this, too, my heart quakes and leaps from its place. Just listen to the noise of his rumbling, to the sound that comes out of his mouth. He lets it loose beneath the entire heavens, his lightning, to the ends of the earth. After it, he lets out a roar. He thunders in his majestic voice. No one can find a trace of it by the time his voice is heard. Elohim thunders marvelously with his voice. He works wonders that we cannot understand. He commands the snow fall to the ground, and the downpour of rain, his mighty downpour of rain, is as a sign on every man's hand, that all men may know his doings. Then the beast enters its lair, and remains in its den. The storm wind comes from his chamber, and the cold from the constellations. By the breath of Elohim, ice is formed, and the expanse of water becomes solid. He also loads the clouds with moisture and scatters his lightning clouds. He keeps turning events by stratagems that they might accomplish all that he commands them throughout the inhabited earth, causing each of them to happen to his land, whether as a scourge or as a blessing. Give ear to this, Job. Stop to consider the marvels of Elohim. Do you know what charge Elohim lays upon them when his lightning clouds shine? Do you know the marvels worked upon the expansive clouds by him whose understanding is perfect? Why your clothes become hot when the land is becalmed by the south wind? Can you help him stretch out the heavens, firm as a mirror of cast metal? Inform us then what we may inform us then what we may inform us then what we may say to him. We cannot argue because we are in darkness. Is anything conveyed to him? When I speak, can a man say anything when he is confused? Now then, one cannot see the sun, though it be bright in the heavens, until the wind comes and clears them of clouds. By the north wind, the golden rays emerge. The splendor of Elohim is awesome. Shaddai, we cannot attain to him. He is great in power and justice and abundant in righteousness. He does not torment. Therefore, men are in awe of him, whom none of the wise can perceive. Then our father in heaven replied to Job out of the tempest and said, Who is this who darkens counsel? Speaking without knowledge, gird your loins like a man, I will ask, and you will inform me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Speak if you have understanding. Do you know who fixed its dimensions, or who measured it with a line unto what were its bases sunk? Who said his cornerstone when the morning stars sang together? When the morning stars sang together, and all the divine beings shouted for joy. He closed the sea behind doors when it gushed forth out of the womb. When I clothed it in clouds, swaddled it in dense clouds. When I made breakers my limit. Oh, snap. I had to really repeat this, our father, and never speaking now. Then our father never replied to Job out of the tempest and said, Who is this who darkens counsel? Speaking without knowledge, gird your loins like a man. I will ask, and you will inform me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundations? Speak if you have understanding. Do you know who fixed its dimensions, or who measured it with a line? Unto what were its bases sunk? Who set its cornerstone when the morning stars sang together, and all the divine beings shouted for joy? Who closed the sea behind doors when it gushed forth out of the womb? When I clothed it in clouds, swaddled it in dense clouds, when I made breakers my limit for it, and set up its bars and doors, and said, You may come so far and no farther. Here your surging waves will stop. Have you ever commanded the day to break, assigned the dawn its place, so that it seizes the corners of the earth and shakes the wicked out of it? Its changes like clay under the seal, till its hues are fixed like those of a garment. Your light is withheld from the wicked, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you penetrated to the sources of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been disclosed to you? Have you seen the gates of deep darkness? Have you surveyed the expanses of the earth? If you know of these, tell me which path leads to where lights dwell, and where is the place of darkness, that you may take it to its domain and know the way to its home. Surely you know, for you were born then, and the number of your years is many. Have you penetrated the vaults of snow, seen the vaults of hail? Wow, I had to do a lot of growing myself. Which I have put aside for a time of adversity, for a day of war and battle. By what path is the west wind dispersed, the east wind scattered over the earth? Who cut a channel for the torrents and a path for the thunderstorms, to rain down on uninhabited land, on the wilderness where no man is, to saturate the desolate wasteland and make the crop of grass sprout forth? Does the rain have a father? Who begot the dewdrops, from whose belly came forth the ice? Who gave birth to the frost of heaven? Water congeals like stone, and the surface of the deep compacts. Can you tie cords to Pleiades? or undo the reins of Orion? Can you lead out Mazzaroth in its season? Conduct the bear with her sons? Do you know the laws of heaven, or impose its authority on earth? Can you send up an order to the clouds for an abundance of water to cover you? Can you dispatch the lightning on a mission and have it answer you, I am ready? Who put wisdom in the hidden parts? Who gave understanding to the mind? Facts. Who was wise enough to give an account for the heavens? By what path is the west? Uriah. That's Aramaic for wind. Mazzaroth, evidently a constellation. Rooster. I'm just reading the things at the bottom right now, family. Can you send up an order to the clouds for an abundance of water to cover you? Can you dispatch the lightning on a mission and have it answer you? I am ready. Who put wisdom in the hidden parts? Who gave understanding to the mind? Who is wise enough to give an account of the heavens? Who can tilt the bones of the sky, whereupon the earth melts into a mass and its clouds stick together? Can you hunt prey for the lion and satisfy the appetite of the king of beasts? They crouch in their dens, lying in ambush in their lairs. Who provides food for the raven when his young cry out to Elohim and wander about without food? This is real. Do you know the season when the mountain goats give birth? Oh snap. Can you mark the time when the hens calf? Yo, this is amazing, because if you think about this, just think about how this is all our Father in Heaven's creation. And it's like he doesn't just take care of us as in the human beings that he created in his image. He takes care of all of us. Like it says right here, who provides food for the raven when his young cry out to Elohim and wander about without food. He's taking care of the animals as well. Do you know the season when the mountain goats give birth? He's over there too. He's guiding the mountains. He has the wind in his hand, commanding the clouds to go where they need to go and the rain to come down when it needs to come down, and the lightnings and thunder to roar when it's supposed to. Bro, he's in control of all of this. This is his creation. This is amazing. All praise to our Father, Messiah, Holy Spirit. Keep creating, keep making. Keep doing what you do. Hey, absolutely. I'm be down here and do what I need to do for you. Can you mark the time when the hens cloud? Amen. Can you count the mouths they must complete? Can you count the months they must complete? Do you know the season they give birth? When they couch to bring forth their offspring, to deliver the young. Their young are healthy. They grow up in the open. They leave and return no more. Who sets the wild donkey free? Who loosens the bonds of the onager? Whose home I have made the wilderness, the salt land, his dwelling place. He scoffs at the tumult of the city, does not hear the shouts of the driver. He roams the hills for his pasture. He searches for any green thing. Would the wild ox agree to serve you? Would he spend the night at your crib? Can you hold the wild ox by ropes to the furrow? Would he plow up the valleys behind you? Would you rely on his great strength and leave your toil to him? Would you trust him to bring in the seed and gather it in from your threshing floor? The wing of the ostrich beats joyously, and her pinions are plumaged like the stork's. She leaves her eggs on the ground. Letting them warm in the dirt, forgetting they may be crushed underfoot or trampled by a wild beast. Her young are cruelly abandoned as if they were not hers. Her labor is in vain for lack of concern, for Elohim deprived her of wisdom. Give her no share of understanding, else she would soar on high, scoffing at the horse and its rider. Do you give the horse his strength? Do you clothe his neck with a mane? Do you make him quiver like locusts? I reject this snorting, spreading terror. He paws with force. He runs with vigor, charging into battle. He scoffs at fear. He cannot be frightened. He does not recoil from the sword, and a quiver full of arrows whizzes by him, and the flashing spear and the javelin trembling with excitement. He swallows the land. He does not turn aside at the blast of the trumpet. As the trumpet sounds, he says, "Aha!" From afar, he smells the battle, the roaring and shouting of the officers. Is it by your wisdom that the hawk grows pinions, spreads his wings to the south as the eagle soar at your command, building his nest high, dwelling in the rock, lodging upon the fastness of a jutting rock? From there he spies out his food. From afar his eyes see it, his young goat blood. Where the slain are, there is he. Our Father in heaven said in reply to Iyob, shall one who should be disciplined complain against Shaddai? Shall one who should be disciplined complain against Shaddai? Who should be disciplined complain against Shaddai? He who arraigns Elohim must respond. Job sent a reply to our Father in heaven, see, I am of small worth. What can I answer you? I clap my hand to my mouth. I have spoken once and would not reply, twice and would do no more. Then our Father never replied to Job out of the tempest and said, gird your loins like a man. This is the realest thing that you could read right here. Gird your loins like a man. I will ask and you will inform me. Will you impugn my justice? Will you condemn me that you may be right? Have you an arm like Elohim's? Can you thunder with a voice like his? Deck yourself now with grandeur and eminence. Clothe yourself in glory and majesty. Scatter wide your raging anger. See every proud man and bring him low. See every proud man and humble him, and bring them down where they stand. Bury them all in the earth. Hide their faces in obscurity. Then even I would praise you for the triumph your right hand, for the triumph your right hand won you. Take now Behemoth, whom I made as I did you. He eats grass like the cattle. His strength is in his loins. His might in the muscles of his belly. He makes of his tail stand up like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are like tubes of bronze. His limbs like iron rods. He is the first of Elohim's work. Only his maker can draw the sword against him. The mountains yield him produce, where all the beasts of the field play. He lies down beneath the lotus. In the cover of the swamp reeds, the lotuses empower him with shade. The willows of the brook. This book's getting heavy now. The willows of the brook surround him. He can restrain the river from its rushing. He is confident the stream will gush at his command. Can he be taken by his eyes? Can his nose be pierced by hooks? Can you draw a leviathan by a fissure? Can you press down his tongue by a rope? Can you put a ring through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a barb? Will he plead with you at length? Will he speak soft words to you? Will he make an agreement with you to be taken as your lifelong slave? Will you play him? Will you play him with? Will you play him? Will you play with him like a bird and tie him down for your girls? Shall traders traffic in him? Will he be divided up among merchants? Let me sit down like this, bro. Yeah, we go. This is a lot better for real. Shall traders traffic in him? Will he be divided up among merchants? Can you fill his skin with darts, or his head with fish spears? Lay a hand on him, and you will lay a hand on him, and you will never think of battle again. See any hope of capturing him must be disappointed. One is prostrated by the very sight of him. There is no one so fierce as to rouse him. Who then can stand up to me? Whoever confronts me, I will requite. For everything under the heavens is mine. I will not be silent concerning him, or the praise of his martial exploits. Who can uncover his outer garment? Who can penetrate the folds of his jewels? Who can pry open the doors of his face? His barred teeth strike terror. His protective scales are his pride, locked with a binding seal. One scale touches the other. Not even a breath can enter between them. Each clings to each. They are interlocked so they cannot be parted. His sneezings flash lightning, and his eyes are like the glimmerings of dawn. Firebrands stream from his mouth. Fiery sparks escape out of his nostrils. Come smoke. As from a streaming, boiling cauldron, his breath ignites coals. Flames blaze from his mouth. Strength resides in his neck. Power leaps before him. The layers of his flesh stick together. He is as though cast hard. He does not totter. His heart is cast hard as a stone. Hard as the nether millstone. Divine beings are in dread as he rears up. As he crashes down, they cringe. No sword that overtakes him can prevail. Nor spear, nor missile, nor lance. He regards iron as strong, bronze as rooted wood. No arrow can put him to flight. Slingstones turn into stubble for him. Clubs are regarded as stubble. He scoffs at the quivering javelin. His underpart is jagged shards. It spreads a threshing sledge on the mud. He makes the depths seethe like a cauldron. He makes the sea boil like an ointment pot. His wake is a luminous path. He makes the deep seem white-haired. There is no one on land who can dominate him. Made as he is without fear. He sees all that is haughty. He is king over all proud beasts. Iyob said in reply to our Father in heaven, I know that you can do everything. That nothing you propose is impossible for you. Who is this who obscures counsel without knowledge? Indeed, I spoke without understanding. I feel that as well, Iyob. I did that same thing. Amen. Of things beyond me, which I did not know. Hear now, and I will speak. I will ask, and you will inform me. I heard you with my ears, but now I see you with my eyes. Therefore I recant and relent. Being but dust and ashes, after our Father in heaven had spoken these words to Iyob, our Father in heaven said, their life as a Temanite, I am incensed at you and your two friends, for you have not spoken the truth about me for you have not spoken the truth about me, as did my servant Job. Now take 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves, and let Job my servant pray for you. For to him I will show favor, and not treat you vilely, since you have not spoken the truth about me, as did my servant Job. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Nahamathite went and did as our father Never had told them, and our father never showed favor to Job. Our father never restored Job's fortunes when he prayed on behalf of his friends, and our father never gave Job twice what he had before. All his brothers and sisters and all his former friends came to him and had a meal with him in his house. You can get blessed down here as well for being obedient. They consoled and confronted him for all the misfortune that our father never had brought upon him. Each gave him 1 keseta, a unit of unknown value, and each 1 gold ring. Thus our father had been blessed the latter years of Job's life more than the former. Wow, he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The first he named Jemima, the second Keziah, and the third Karen Hapach. Nowhere in the land were women as beautiful as Job's daughters to be found. Their father gave them estates together with their brothers. Afterward, Job lived 140 years to see 4 generations of sons and grandsons. Job died old and contented. Wow. I love our Father, Messiah, and Holy Spirit. This is amazing. May our Father, Messiah, and Holy Spirit be with us. Amen. Beautiful. Songs of songs now. Amen.